Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, depends on where you are, I guess. We are having a bounce back kind of a day today. It's been a good one based on volatility, right? We've had ups, we've had downs, bidirectional trading all day long, been really, really good in the war room pretty much all day today. It's all on the heels of a better than expected CPI print, right? So we've got inflation that 0.1% is what we came in better than expectation. That's, I'll take that over a poke in the eye any day of the week. We've got lots of opportunities today. Julie had some great pivot trades that she called on Microsoft and a couple other things in the room today. We've also had Tesla. We had the triple Qs. So all this stuff is shaping up in terms of opportunity. Let's go take a look at the charts and see exactly where we can find them. So here we go. This is what we saw today. You can see here that on the Qs, let's take a look here. And let's go right here. So on the triple Q, we had the move up first thing in the morning, and then we had the move back down into the range. This stuff all happened sort of across the indices. Dow was the first one to sell off. My friend Alex, who I know from way back when, I'm going to say 30 years ago almost, in the underground trading days, he this morning had called the top on those Dow futures and locked in a really good gain, about an 80-point gain on that. And so it's across the board today. What we've had was things moved higher and then moved back down into the range, closed a bunch of gaps, and now are pulling back up into the trading range again. So I've been looking at NVIDIA, I've been looking at Google, I've been looking at Meta, and to a lesser extent today, Tesla. Microsoft has been top of the list, forefront, so we've got a great move on that this morning that got us up into the pivots. So these trades right here on the short side, after this fall, first thing in the morning, logical place to look was for a move back down again. And when you come back up from below and you hit those pivot inflections like that, if you're looking at your boot camp manuals and you guys are getting ready for June, these are the pivot trades that we're talking about. So when you get those inflections at an overlap, when you get an overlap between volume by price cluster analysis and a natural support and resistance level and a pivot line, and you're coming back into that from below like that on a morning where the market's been drifting lower, that's a real good place to look for a short sale opportunity. How many times do you do it? We talk about this all the time. There's once, there's twice. If you take it the third time, you're going to get the very high probability that you're going to push through that overhead supply. You're going to get through the volume that's sitting there. Sell side volume goes away, and you get this broader market rally that pushes things higher. So once, twice, and then let the third one play out is always what I say about these things. We had some just really classic kinds of setups on some of these trades this morning. You guys who are, again, if you're studying the boot camp materials, to look for like the double header setups, and we definitely had one of those in the spiders. So if you look over on the right side of the chart over here, spider is this middle guy, and what you see is that when we had this little setup right there, if you're reading the international versions of my books, then you know that as a kings and queens for all of you in Europe. If you are reading the American version, the baseball analogy, it is a double header, and that double header was good for a move from $560.50 down to $559.43 on the SPY. Probably trading that on the ES if you are conserving trading capital over the course of the day. Then on Meta, we had exactly the same kind of a scenario play out, a little bit of a looser double header setup, but we called that live in the room and had a 620.96 entry and a 619 exit on it. So these are all things that these opportunities are going to be in both directions. If you're not comfortable with a bi-directional kind of a trading day where you're going long and short, then days like today are not going to be your favorite thing in the world, just because that's where the opportunity is. The opportunity for profit is by getting on the right side of the market, and the right side of the market means that a lot of times you're looking at a market that's moving higher, and you have to say, well, if it gets into that resistance level that turned it around this morning, what am I going to do? Look at this. I mean, every one of these guys turned the market back down again when price got there. So if you have the ability to set your emotions aside, and you have the ability to say, you know, I'm not catching a falling knife, or I'm not trying to, you know, bottom tick or top tick a market here. What I'm doing is just what makes sense. Then you've got lots and lots of opportunity to get right in there when the thing is about to turn lower. And a lot of times those moves can be precipitous, right? So things fall much, much faster than they climb. And, you know, look at the Magnificent Seven here. I know for a lot of people, you know, if these are sitting in your portfolio, they look much more like the Maleficent Seven, but they are still a great trading opportunity. And over the course of the rest of the session, we are just going to keep focusing on exactly what we've been doing so far. So Tesla, if it comes up into these highs, going to look for the short side of the market. And if it comes back down into this anchored VWAP right here, where that inflection overlaps with support and resistance, and with all of this volume by price data out here, we'll look at the long side of the market there. Keep an eye on the clock too, and make sure that you're not getting into one of those S&P reversal zones when that kind of a thing happens. Microsoft, same thing. Looking at this range up here right now, the trade was long, 383.10. You know, there's going to be some overhead resistance right here because of all of this volume by price. So if it gets in there and it hesitates, you know, don't be afraid to take a teeny, take a scalp on it, take your profits, and move on to the next thing. Nothing wrong with making a couple $100 for 10 minutes worth of work. And just keep an eye on all of these things over the course of the session. You know, NVIDIA is really trading in the box. I mean, there's lots of opportunity today, right? A lot more to talk about than usual, where everything is just sort of trading in the area that we're interested in seeing it. It's trading right up above that anchored VWAP. If it comes back down into 115.06, got the possibility for a move higher. I don't think we're looking at that upper band necessarily. I'm going to say that somewhere in the middle of the range, you know, probably closer to in here, about a 50-cent move off of the low. And then if it pushes through, if it manages to go and jam up through that range, then you know, there's an opportunity there to catch the move up to the pivot line. But otherwise, just focus on taking the little victories as the market hands them to you. Okay, so I think that wraps up sort of the strategy for the rest of the session as far as I see it. Let me just see here. Yeah, I think we're good. So with that said, I am, you know, we're still trying to get the technology right. So, you know, there's no control room down here. So the island house was built before there was even television. So the idea that there's going to be a TV studio in the house is kind of crazy. So we are winging it. But I think today we finally managed to get at least audio going along with the video, and you know, things are looking up. So we're back online, and you know, you'll get your updates over the course of the day. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Either pop them up in the room, shoot me a text, or give me an email at adrian@traderinsight.com. All right, hope you're having a great trading day, and I will see everybody back here.